Right now on Local News 8 on Fox, Donald Trump pulls out a historic presidential win, accepting the victory in a speech at a convention center in Florida early this morning. We have local, national, and international reaction. Plus, we will have a live reaction from a special guest who made a bold Election Day prediction on our air last night that came true. And a majority of Idahoans voted against Proposition 1, effectively ending the debate over open primaries and ranked choice voting in the state. Local News 8 on Fox starts right now.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 on Fox starts now.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Donald Trump wins the 2024 presidential election. Trump took the stage at a convention center in West Palm Beach, Florida early this morning to declare victory. Trump was joined on stage by his wife, Melania, along with other members of his family, as well as his running mate, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance and House Speaker Mike Johnson. And Donald Trump is only the second president in American history to lose a re-election campaign and then come back to win another term in office. Grover Cleveland accomplished that feat as the 22nd and 24th president. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here for Fox at 9 o'clock. I'm Todd Kuntz. Glad to have you along with us. The national election, that is our top story. Idahoans are reacting to Donald Trump winning a second term in the White House.
I'm pretty excited for the next 4 years.
I think the right guy, the right person got in. I think he's going to do well for America.
I think America spoke. I think America finally spoke and declared exactly what they're tired of. They're tired of the lies, they're tired of manipulation, they're tired of the propaganda, they're tired of the constant warmongering, they're tired of all the crap that we've dealt with for the last 3 years. I think America woke up this morning with a huge weight lifted off our shoulders, or at least feeling like there's a huge weight lifted off our shoulders.
Americans made their choice for president, but how is the rest of the world reacting? Fox's Caroline Shively has some answers from Washington.
Reactions to the presidential race pouring in Wednesday, not only from the U.S. Americans abroad and world leaders are also chiming in on the results, some with congratulatory messages for President-elect Trump.
As the closest of allies, the UK and US will continue to work together to protect our shared values of freedom and democracy.
While others express some worry.
Quite obviously, there is another risk, a reduced commitment to Ukraine.
Incredible.
Trump has promised a very different vision of foreign relations than the Biden administration, pledging to end the Ukrainian-Russian war his first day on the job and impose huge tariffs on imports, while also threatening not to defend NATO countries that don't meet their defense spending targets. That's getting mixed reaction from world leaders and Americans overseas.
I'm a little disappointed, not as surprised as I was as 2016. A bit scared now what's going to happen the next 4 years and beyond.
I am very concerned about what this possible new administration would do or what they would say about a woman's body and a woman's right on our reproductive.
Donald Trump is a lot stronger, more aggressive president, which intimidates a lot of people. But at the same time, I think it also helps with order around the world.
One person not weighing in, Russian President Vladimir Putin. A Kremlin spokesman Wednesday telling reporters no congratulations call is scheduled, saying relations between the two countries are at a historical low point. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
And the election results affect the stock market. Stocks rallied sharply today with major benchmarks hitting record highs as Donald Trump won the election. It closed at a record high with its best day since November of 2022. The Dow launches 1,508 points. The Nasdaq jumps 544 and the S&P gains 146 points. And Bitcoin hit an all-time high after the election results today. The price surged to $75,000. Crypto investors favor a Trump administration with wider adoption and weaker regulation. Other cryptocurrencies also soared, including Ether, that is the world's second most popular crypto, which rallied 17%, and Dogecoin rocketed as much as 18%. It is the favorite cryptocurrency of billionaire Elon Musk, one of Trump's most prominent supporters.
Cold and sunny today. Temperatures down quite a bit in the wake of the cold front that came through Monday and Tuesday, but we're really not seeing anything crazy in the weather, just the chilly temperatures in play as we go through tonight. A live look at the Pocatello Farm Bureau Skycam showing us very quiet conditions, light winds, and dropping temperatures for this evening. And we're going to get down into the teens and 20s by tomorrow morning, but nothing showing up here locally on First Alert radar. We've still got quite a bit of snow, though, around the Front Range of the Rockies, across Colorado, New Mexico, and areas of the plains. That's the tail end of the system that came through yesterday and Monday. We're currently at 29 degrees in Idaho Falls, 27 in Pocatello. We're at 12 in Jackson, 35 in Boise, with 14 at the ranger station in Island Park, with very little wind movement tonight, but just enough wind to start knocking down on some of those wind chill values. Numbers are going to be down to the lower 20s by tomorrow morning across the Snake River Plain. When I join you in a bit, we're going to talk more about increasing those temperatures just a bit as we get into the weekend, but I'm also looking at more rain and snow showing up in your 8-day. We'll send it back over to Todd.
All right, Michael, we'll come back. One of the biggest items on the ballot last night was this one, Proposition 1. The results show a clear winner today. The majority of the state voted no. As of this afternoon, 70% of Idahoans voted no, effectively ending the debate over open primaries and ranked choice voting in the state. Representatives on both sides of the issue weighed in on the results that you're looking at right there, 70-30. Governor Brad Little had already issued a statement on social media. He writes, quote, Idahoans have decided Proposition 1 does not promote clear voting practices, voter participation, or election confidence. My top priority will continue to be ensuring Idahoans have trust and confidence in our election system, end quote. The decision on Proposition 1 was one of the most divisive and talked about issues in the lead up to the election. And while the proposition did not pass, the group, Idahoans for Open Primaries, says their supporters are celebrating the monumental grassroots efforts and progress made for Idaho.
This problem of the closed primary is a problem that people have been talking about for over a decade as one of the most serious problems facing Idaho. And we tried our best to do something about it, and we took a big swing at it. We didn't get over the finish line this time. We did talk to thousands of voters across the state, and we do believe that the voters, even though they weren't willing to go along with us on this specific proposal, we do believe that the majority of voters view the closed primary as a problem.
He says Proposition 1 was not the only initiative that struggled in state elections. In neighboring states such as Montana and Nevada, there were several initiatives for election reforms that did not include ranked choice voting that still struggled. Mayville says at this time they do not have any plans for an initiative in 2026 or 2028. And there were many Republican victories in Bannock County, such as Idaho House District 29, County Commissioner, and Prosecutor. Craig Yaden, chair of the Bannock County Republican Party, says a highlight of this election cycle was Tanya Burgoyne's close win against Nate Roberts for Idaho House Seat 29B. Yaden also says that the community's involvement in the election process made the Republican wins possible.
People just came out of the woodwork asking for signs, people we didn't know that weren't necessarily on our list. So we felt good early on just seeing this groundswell of common folks coming in asking for signs, and we were happy to help them out.
Lauren Necochea, the chairwoman of the Idaho Democratic Party, released a statement about the loss of Democratic seats in the Idaho legislature. Her statement reads in part, quote, the recent influx of conservative migration has shifted Idaho's electorate further right, even beyond traditional conservative values, making it more extreme. Unfortunately, our candidates were swept up in a national wave that leaned heavily toward Trump and Republicans. With such high stakes, retreat is not an option. We will double down, working even harder as we look toward next year and the midterms, end quote. We'll stay right there. Coming up, I will be joined by a special guest, Eric Simpson. He predicted on Local News 8 last night that Donald Trump would win all the battleground states.
You're watching Fox 5 KXPI.
Ebenezer, you have yet a chance to escape my fate. Am I destined to end up in chains like you, Jacob?
Worse. Without triple rewards, but you can still change your destiny with a Mountain America Rewards credit card.
With a Mountain America Rewards credit card, earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent until the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
Triple rewards are better than I thought.
For over a century, Browning's Honey has been known for producing local, raw, pure, and natural honey straight from our hives to your home. With a commitment of quality and tradition, you may rest assured you will not find a higher grade of honey anywhere. Bring your own clean, dry, sealable container to fill with clover or creamed honey to take advantage of our excellent pricing. Rich in antioxidants and nutrients, Browning's Honey is a sweet, healthy addition to any diet. Visit our gift shop to fill your containers and discover a wide range of honey and honey-related products.
Matt Sommer Construction specializes in new custom homes of all sizes, major remodels, shops, pools, and additions. They also build barn-dominiums, shop houses, log work, and timbers. They're a Christian-owned company, and Matt is a hands-on builder with over 30 years of framing experience. They're committed to integrity and honesty. Worried about design? Their interior design services and drawings are absolutely free. Your home will reflect your unique style. Matt Sommer Construction. Let us build your dreams.
Local News 8 on Fox continues.
We had live analysts with us last night who made some bold predictions about this presidential race. It turns out they came true. Eric Simpson, a former 2-term Idaho legislator for District 32, said this last night.
Early on, I noticed the gap that Trump was winning in Florida, Ohio, Texas, and Iowa. And he's basically setting records for his vote totals. And I think that spells good news for the Trump campaign. And likely he's going to win all of the battleground states.
Really?
I believe so. If you look at the margins in these other states, even in the blue states, his margins are significantly closer than they were in 2020.
Even the blue wall states. Okay.
I think he's going to win them all.
All right. Eric, you're back with me tonight, knowing the outcome today. The battleground states, he's won them all. We're still holding out a little bit for Nevada and Arizona, but he's got comfortable leads in both.
Right.
And so they're basically saying a clean sweep. Last night, when you said that and we went to break, you're like, well, I said it.
Right.
And today, how does it feel when it comes true when you made such a bold prediction?
Well, I wish I put some money down in Vegas before I made the prediction. I would have been much happier, celebrating, and richer today.
You hinted a little bit right there on how you saw something that everybody else was not seeing. You stick to that today.
Oh, absolutely. What I saw in those states, in Florida, Iowa, Texas, and Ohio, was Trump had double-digit leads, and that told me that the polls that we had been watching and hearing about for several weeks had once again misrepresented Trump's support. And I knew he would be carrying that support with these much bigger margins into the blue wall states.
Okay. The polls don't very often seem to be accurate. We can go back to the last election and the one prior and prior. They're just not quite there.
Yeah, and I think obviously a poll is only as good as the pollster. And I think in many respects the corporate media, was maybe fudging the numbers just a bit to prop up Kamala Harris. And as we got closer to the election, you saw that the poll numbers got really close and the race got much tighter because they don't want to go into election night losing their poll estimates by double digits.
I think oftentimes, do you suppose when somebody comes out of a poll or they're polled the question, they don't give an accurate answer, an exit poll?
I think that's true I've heard that with Trump supporters as well, is number one, they won't even participate in a poll, which then the pollster is going to go to the next caller who may be an independent, may be a Democrat, and so that Trump supporter is sort of left out of the polling average.
Well, you seem to be one for one, pretty good. Let's play a little bit. Let's go forward the next 60 days into Inauguration Day. What do you see for the Trump administration? What's the first move?
Well, I hope the Trump administration learned by what happened to them in 2016, where his campaign had been under FBI surveillance through a FISA court, and then as soon as Michael Flynn came on in the Trump administration, the FBI went after him, set him up. Then we were left with a special counsel investigation for 3 years under Russia collusion, which was false and didn't exist. So I think the Trump campaign and the Trump administration is going to be smarter this time around. But unlike in 2016, Trump is going to have to drain the swamp, and he's going to have to drain it empty.
It wasn't completed the time before.
He didn't even begin to drain the swamp, and he needs to start with the FBI director, and he needs to fire a lot of these people, and he needs to investigate the lawfare that took place against him in the collusion with the White House counsel's office.
Okay, I'm going to let you go here momentarily. Last question. If you're Donald Trump today, you won last night today, you start thinking about your cabinet, and is that day one? You start thinking who fits where the best?
Yeah, I think Tulsi Gabbard, probably has a position in his cabinet, maybe in defense. I would say John Ratcliffe, who was the former director of national intelligence, potentially could be the attorney general. I would say Ramaswamy will probably have a position in the Trump administration. I think Elon Musk is going to be more of a czar. I think potentially Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going to be involved as well. So, and then if I'm Trump, I'm going to pick some of the House members who are the committee chairmen who were investigating, the Biden grifting scheme with our foreign enemies. I think likely they're going to be in his administration as well.
Okay, interesting process. Okay. After this newscast, I want to know what's in my future, if you can tell me.
That's right.
Good job. Okay, thanks for that. Don't run off too far. We'll continue with this a little bit. Brian Smith, also, Idaho's Republican National Committeeman, made an accurate prediction from last night.
I think we'll be done tonight. I don't think it's going to go on like it did last time. I think that it's going to be overwhelming amounts, maybe not necessarily in the electoral votes, but in those states that Trump wins, it's not going to be by a slim margin enough that it's going to take weeks and weeks to sort it out. I think by the end of tonight, we will have a new president-elect for the United States of America.
Okay, and Local News 8 invited Smith back to our studio this morning for reaction. Here's that clip in case you missed it.
That was you just yesterday. Pretty spot on.
Pretty good.
Yeah, how are you reacting to that today now?
Well, it really wasn't that hard of a call, because when he ran 4 years ago, he didn't do as well in the overall popular vote, but it was a very close race for the electoral vote, and that's our system. So, if you would throw in Arizona and Georgia, he could have won, or he would have won.
Yeah.
And so I believe Arizona was 10,000 votes short, and Georgia was 13,000 votes. But when you just look at the overwhelming amount of Republicans that came out voting, you saw the blacks were voting for, black men particularly were voting for Trump. You saw Hispanics were voting for Trump. Democrats were voting for Trump. He only needed to make up, 20,000 votes maybe from a few states, and it could have been either Arizona and Georgia, it could have been Georgia and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Well, it turns out he did get a Wisconsin, and I'm not sure what he's got today, but when you looked at that, he didn't have that much to overcome really to win, and that's why I figured he'd win last night.
Okay, you can find the latest, the most recent updated election numbers on our website, localnews8.com. Just go to the drop-down menu, select 2024 Voter Guide. You will find useful resources like interactive graphics. And you can also view the color-coded election results from the presidential, Senate, House, and state and local races. Coming up, the execution of Idaho's longest-standing death row inmate, Thomas Creech, is paused for now. We've got the details later.
It's getting pretty cold tonight. Note lows getting down to the teens and 20s across the Snake River Plain, even some single-digit lows higher up. And as we talk about that forecast, warmer numbers and more rain and snow showing up in your 8-day. Right now, look back at the highs and lows we saw earlier today. Full forecast after the break.
holiday trips, and holiday toys, and holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
Find your red tag. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $3,750 total value on this Silverado when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Silverado, the #1 selling truck in Southeast Idaho.
Have you ever wondered if a door could be more? More beautiful, more secure, more reliable. Simply put, a better door. Get more than just a door. Get an ensemble entry door, the perfect complement to our acclaimed custom replacement windows. Both thoughtfully engineered and exclusively from Renewal by Andersen. For a limited time, enjoy special savings on our acclaimed replacement windows and our all-new ensemble entry doors.
For babies like mine that were in the hospital NICU.
I march for moms who struggled during their pregnancy journey.
I march to support parents who have experienced miscarriage and loss.
I march for every family to have access to health care.
Join us to ensure that every mom and baby is healthy and strong. If we come together, we can work to improve maternal health.
Protect every family through programs, research, education, and advocacy.
Let's take action.
Join March for Babies, a mother of a movement.
And now your first alert weather.
All right, below freezing tonight. We're already at 28 degrees outside across the Snake River Plain in Idaho Falls and got a little bit of a wind chill down to 23. That's what it feels like with those winds out of the south at 5 miles an hour. And then we go east to the Tetons down to 12 tonight in Jackson with a clear sky. Winds at 3, feels like 6 with that wind chill. Elsewhere, we're at 27 in Blackfoot and Pocatello, 35 in Boise, and 11 in Island Park. Already down to the lower 20s also in Soda Springs and Montpelier. 31 still at the Challis Airport, but that number is going to tick down any minute now, getting down to those 20s. Area of low pressure. This is what came through past couple of days with the cold, windy weather, a little bit of snow. It's putting down a lot of snow across Colorado. They're getting really good snow in Colorado Springs, Denver areas in the plains. Also, we're getting a rain-snow mix in New Mexico as this low slides across the four corners. In the wake of that low, we're under the direct north flow of the jet stream. That's keeping our temperatures below normal for this time of the year. Very chilly conditions for the next couple of days with highs struggling to get to the normal range of the upper 40s and low 50s. So we'll warm it up a little bit by Friday and Saturday. We should get closer to that 50-degree mark, but that's short-lived because we have another storm that's going to take aim to the region. This arrives Saturday to the Pacific Northwest, and by the time this stuff filters into our region, we'll have more wind, scattered rounds of rain and snow to get us into Sunday and Monday for next week. And once again, the temperatures are going to tumble behind these fronts blowing in from the west coast. So we actually have a couple cold fronts coming in starting on Sunday. A check of the future track tonight showing us clear, cold, quiet conditions. Very little cloud cover out there as we wind our way through tomorrow and getting into Friday as well. Temperatures into the 30s and 40s tomorrow. A little bit warmer on Friday with just a couple isolated clouds, but it's a dry forecast, and it's just going to be that cosmetic sunshine where you step outside, looks nice, but of course it's pretty chilly, especially in the morning hours. Normally, temperatures would sit in the upper 40s this time of the year. We're only going to be in the low 40s, upper 30s tomorrow across the Snake River Plain. So again, numbers below average. And on top of that, you have to factor in a little bit of wind, and with winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's going to be happening middle of the day tomorrow, but by the afternoon, the winds are starting to back off to some lighter levels. So the winds aren't going to be too much of a factor in your comfort for tomorrow. 37 from Montpelier, 39 in Soda Springs after lows get down to about 10 tonight in Montpelier, 21 tonight for the low in McCammon. Rexburg will be in the upper 30s, lower 40s tomorrow. It's going to be about 39 there in Rexburg, 40 for St. Anthony, and the upper 30s for both Driggs and Jackson. Here's that Jackson 8-day forecast. You're going to see temperatures here in the upper 30s for tomorrow, 50-degree weather for Friday and Saturday, but watch out, we have that wet weather creeping in. Veterans Day, we're going to be looking at high 48 with scattered hits of rain and snow, and that will take us into Tuesday and Wednesday with tumbling temperatures back to the 30s. Salmon's at 46. We got 49 in Stanley and Challis with 49 in Ketchum for highs tomorrow afternoon. Numbers in the valleys of central Idaho are expected to get back into those lower 50s as we close out this week, but then we get the storm clouds back in late Sunday through Monday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we have temperatures tumbling back down to those lower 40s, scattered hits of rain and snow along with gusty winds. Over to Blackfoot with a high of 42. Idaho Falls, the same. Rigby, the same. Pocatello, the same. We're really not going to see much of a difference here. In Pocatello, 1 degree warmer at 43, but not much of a difference as you go from city to city across the Snake River Plain tomorrow afternoon, with lows down to the teens and 20s tonight. Check out that Pocatello 8-day forecast. Bright and sunny, but chilly at times. Temperatures only at 43 for tomorrow. We got 49 for Friday. Then we're going to see the 50s for Saturday and Sunday. Scattered hits of rain and snow as we head into next week. We are expecting to pick up on some wet weather. We are looking at temperatures into the 30s for lows. And as we take a look at that forecast here for Idaho Falls, we got temperatures here into the upper 40s by Saturday and Sunday. So the numbers are increasing, but we're also, again, seeing some of those storm clouds looming off in the distance. Arriving for Veterans Day Monday with rain, snow, wind. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s for highs, so I'm looking at more rain than snow at that point. But of course, it still drops below freezing for the overnight hours. That could turn that rain back over to snow next week. But it's a pretty typical fall system coming in here. But next couple of days, sunny, bright. At least it gets a little warmer for the weekend.
It was nice to see the sun today.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be raking leaves, though, this Saturday.
There's a lot of that to do. You bet. All right, Michael, thanks a lot. Up next, we will see why the execution of Thomas Creech, Idaho's longest-standing death row inmate, is being delayed again.
This Skycam Network, sponsored by
your Southeast Idaho Chevy dealers.
Conan Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Idaho Falls and the surrounding areas for over 75 years.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Bathfitter is your best choice for your bathroom model. Hi, I'm Rick Booman.
And I'm Kayla Booman with Bathfitter. We can do any tub, any shower, or convert your tub to a shower. Trust Bathfitter to make your bathroom beautiful.
Our easy-to-clean, one-piece seamless walls are laser measured for the perfect custom fit.
Installed in as little as 1 day by our Bathfitter team of experts and backed by our lifetime warranty.
From Treasure Valley to Idaho Falls, we serve all of Idaho. Call now for a free estimate and receive up to $600 off or special financing. It's better with Bathfitter.
Ebenezer, you have yet a chance to escape my fate.
Am I destined to end up in chains like you, Jacob?
Worse. Without triple rewards, but you can still change your destiny with a Mountain America Rewards credit card.
With a Mountain America Rewards credit card, earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent until the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
Triple rewards are better than I thought.
Getting away from it all can be harder than it looks. But behind the wheel of a Ford SUV, you have the versatility and capability to take on almost any challenge and find your own secret spot to experience. Don't worry, we won't tell. Lease Bronco Sport for $299 a month or Bronco for $399 a month or buy with low 2.9% financing.
Local News 8 on Fox continues.
Thomas Creech will no longer be executed November 13th. This latest move comes after the Idaho Department of Correction received an order from a federal judge to stay the execution. Under the order, the judge determined Creech is entitled to a ruling on a federal appeal and set November 29th as a deadline for all legal filings in this case. Creech has been returned to his housing in J Block of the Idaho Department of Correction facility, and execution preparations are now suspended. The U.S. Forest Service is planning to help reduce the risk of wildfires around Pocatello. The Forest Service will conduct prescribed burns south of Pocatello. This will get rid of plants and debris that could fuel wildfires. Controlled burns will be around the Scout Mountain Campground area and the Gibson Jack Trail system.
Larger wildfire events are occurring more frequently across the West, and it is not a matter of if, but when larger wildfire will impact southeast Idaho. And if we pull together as a community, we can be more prepared for those impacts.
The Forest Service is hosting an open house event tomorrow afternoon. You can learn more about the Vegetation Management Project. It will be held at the Southeastern Idaho Public Health Building in Pocatello starting at 3 p.m. Local News 8 will be right back.
You're watching Fox 5 KXPI.
Grand Peaks is now open at their temporary location in Idaho Falls, bringing you high-quality health care closer to home. Dedicated providers give each patient personalized attention and offer comprehensive care in medical, behavioral health, and a full-service pharmacy, all under one roof. They accept Medicare, Medicaid, most insurances, and even no insurance at all. Visit their website at grandpeaks.org for details on hours, services, and payment options. Grand Peaks, because your complete health is their top priority.
You know what hope is? Hope is action, carving a path forward even when it's hard. And kids who still know how to dream, they're the best pathfinders of all. So at Child Fund, hope means helping children worldwide grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and, so all those other good things can come true for them, safe. And that means safe at home, at school, online. Hope means walking that path together, all of us. Hope includes you. Child Fund, because we need each other.
Local News 8 on Fox continues.
The Elks Lodge in Idaho Falls is hosting a luncheon and a ceremony this Veterans Day. It will start at 11 next Monday morning at the lodge at 640 East Elva Street. The ceremony will honor all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Afterward, the lodge will provide winter gear, backpacks, and other essentials for veterans in need. Everyone is invited. That'll be nice. Coming up Monday.
Yeah, we might be dealing with some rain, so it might be a good day to be inside eating that lunch.
Get in there, yep.
Yeah. We do have some cold and breezy conditions at times here for tonight and tomorrow, but we're really not seeing a whole lot of wind. Just a little bit of wind can make it feel just ever so cold with the wind chill. We are expecting to see temperatures in the upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow. Occasionally get the wind about 10 to 15, but on average, we're not looking for a lot of wind. And then as we head through Friday and Saturday, numbers are increasing. Heading into Sunday and Monday next week, we have a storm moving in. Rain, snow, gusty winds.